You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Movie Graveyard. We're starting a whole new era here. That is right, the Tom Cruise era.
No.
Yes. What do you mean no? Boo and Goat here with you again. And we're, shockingly enough, over 75 episodes of the Movie Graveyard, primarily focusing originally just on the 80s movies, but then eventually, broadening out to 90s, early 2000 movies. We have never done a Tom Cruise movie. It's unbelievable. I can't get over that. So, we decided, and we'll get into it in a second here, but you wanted to dive into some of Tom's earlier work.
Yeah, my personal feelings of the stuff that I've learned of Scientology. Pretty much turned away from Tom Cruise and his movies for a while now. Just the more I learn about what that organization does and stands for. But I am giving his pre-Scientology movies a pass. So,
No.
From what I know, he got involved with it. I know he was with the person that he was introduced him to it, but apparently he only got involved with Scientology in 1990.
No.
So I watch anything Tom Cruise pre-1990. So this is one of them.
And over time, I really want to kind of cover the time capsule, the explosion. We'll get into a second here of Tom Cruise in the year 1983. I mean, this guy was just everywhere at once. I thought about going back chronologically into his very first stuff, but I was like, well, let's put the one out there where I feel like Tom, at the height of his power in terms of just coming, because he had like 4 movies come out in 1983, and we don't know which one was filmed first or what, but so it's arguable what was his first, leading role. Was it the first one he filmed, the first one that came out? Obviously, Risky Business made him, but that's more of a comedic lead. I think this one, I categorize this one as his first true lead in a film, just because there's no humor to distract, no nothing. It's just Tom telling the story, playing the main character. It's all about him. So yeah, we're going with 1983's All the Right Moves. We have the Blu-ray synced up here at the 0-second mark. When you hit play on your remotes, you're going to see the 20th Century Fox logo. Rest in peace. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and get it rolling. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. And when you hear me say go, hit play on your remotes, everybody. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Tom Cruise is cool. Go. And we are rolling. 20th Century Fox.
No, it's so sad.
Yeah. No longer exists. But by the way, I've never seen so many people happy that one of the most historic, film studios of all time closed. But X-Men's in Marvel now. That justifies everything. Meanwhile, X-Men has been completely shut down. So it was all for nothing.
Disney, they'll do whatever they can. If they were able to get Spider-Man into it, they'll do whatever they'll do.
So here we're opening up in a steel mill, this Pennsylvania town. It's kind of like a suburb or a rural suburb, I guess, of Pittsburgh. But yeah, and that's another thing too. If you watch this movie, even if you watch the Blu-rays of this, Losing It, The Outsiders, Risky Business, I think this might be just about Tom's lowest budget feeling and looking movie for sure. This is
but not by design. I think it's just because where they are.
Oh yeah. But I mean, the film, they're not using any beautiful magic hour lighting and shit. This movie almost looks like a George Romero movie. It's got that very naturalistic sunshine, true lighting look to it. I like it. It's kind of gritty in a way, and I think when you're doing one of these small scale dramas like this, I think it's the way to go. Way to make it look whatever. But yeah, so it starts out, you see these two guys coming out of the steel mill. You don't know who they are. Later on, I'll put it in the context here in a second. That was actually Tom's dad and older brother. Now we get the slow kind of opening credits montage of Tom waking up early. Very baby face. He got his childhood acne still.
I was surprised when I saw that.
Yeah. And it's like, you know me, like, I'm not crazy in the sports movies, but I like sports movies that have a lot more in them than just sports, than just about becoming good at sports. So this, and then Vision Quest with Matthew Modine, which came out like a year or two. See, yeah, Tom getting out of the bed. You know, it's a gritty movie when Tom gets out of bed, starts scratching his balls right on camera. I love the shot, though, where he looks out of his... he kind of just like pulls the blind open and lets some light in the room, but then he takes a second and looks out on the town. Man, this is pure, you know, working class town. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's very gritty. It's very alternative. Which, I mean, I understand if you're born into like a town like that, you probably hate it. It's probably ugly and depressing to you. But like, I don't know. Like, I really like these working class stories. Reckless with what's his name, Aidan Quinn, made around the same time, had that kind of similar look and feel. It translates well, you know.
The city was actually called Ampipe.
Yeah.
So the city was actually named after the factory too.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought that just the school was named after the factory.
Yeah,
like
the factory,
they sponsored it or something.
The city. It's like, I think it's one of those things what they used to call company towns, like where the business started, and like at first they were like literally owned the whole town and shit.
Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't notice that. I just saw that on the plaque for the award right there.
Yeah, but there's lots of I wouldn't really. They're not really called mountains in the Midwest, but really hills and stuff everywhere around.
Yeah, he makes me want to eat some cereal right now.
I know Tom's eating shit, and you know, I love, like, seriously, like, I can't sell it hard enough. I love the beginning of this movie, like the first 5 minutes of this movie, just showing the guys coming home from work. You know, they work all night. I guess Tom's getting ready for school, you know, and like on his way out, he meets his I was gonna say mom and dad, but his dad and brother. And, you know, these hilly... I don't know. I love neighborhoods and buildings that are, like, sloped on hills like that. There's something, like, so cinematic about it. But I love the beginning of this movie because I swear to God, like, this is good filmmaking, which you don't see anymore because they don't want to take the time to figure you'd be too bored now. But just this very simple opening of this movie. Now Tom's going to get a ride for school, you know, because he's on the football team. Everybody likes the football guys and stuff.
This guy's very pivotal to the movie.
Yeah, and see, that's what I love about the beginning too, is you don't even know who these people are at first, but they're all
just
like
average people.
Yeah, and they all are like important to the story.
And he's so nice to him that he knows who he is. He's like a hometown, you know, hero kind of guy because he's on the football team.
Yeah,
giving him a ride. He's being nice to him.
Yeah, gets in the car full of kids, and like what I was saying, like this very simple opening of this movie is like, I swear, like, just this beginning part, like, you know so much about this movie already before the story even starts. Like, you know everything about this town kind of already, the look and feel of it, the type of people that live there, you know, like
this school underneath a bridge.
Yeah. And if I'm not getting my facts mixed up, I'm pretty sure that they filmed in the school like right after they closed it down. It was like the I don't know why, I didn't see any information about why, but the school had just you know, closed down like a year or two before because it was like super old.
Okay, so that's one thing about this movie, and they show it right off the bat with that conversation he just had.
Yeah,
this movie's like super sexy.
Oh yeah, it's all about
there's
fucking.
Like all kinds of like, and this kissing over there is like, it's like filled with all kinds of like overhyped teen sex tension.
Yeah, Tom's girlfriend in this movie is the great Leah Thompson, which, like, if you think she looks young in Back to the Future, she looks like extra young in this movie.
She's got the great Farrah Fawcett hair.
She does. She looks good. But yeah, it's like, you know, when he first came into his locker, he was talking to his one buddy on the football team, Leon. Well, Leon's the actor's name. I'm not sure what his name is in the movie. But a lot of people in smaller roles in here. So here you meet his, like, main buddy, played by Chris Penn, who's, like, you don't know it right here, but Chris Penn is like kind of like the real star of the football team on defense. I think he plays linebacker.
Is he the guy from Bill and Ted? No, that's a different guy.
No, yeah, that's Alex Winter.
When I first saw him the first time, I was gonna ask you that, but I was like, no, he would be older.
Yeah,
I think by now. I don't know. Well, here's some more
young. It's funny too though, because like young skinny Chris Penn, like Footloose. the wildlife, all the right moves. Crispin is way different than.
That guy works at the school.
Yeah, and if you notice, he's got like they all kind of like a lot of guys laughing in the thing, hallway. But this older guy who's like kind of friendly with Tom.
I thought he was just the parents of the kids.
Yeah, no, he actually works like at the school. Like you literally only see it because he's got the apron on there.
Yeah.
But he's wearing his old high school football jacket that's all tattered and shit. If you
Yeah.
notice, the sleeve is all falling apart. Like I said, there's a lot of subtleties in this movie that you really almost got to give it a second look.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
And here's the one scene in the movie, like, it seems really out of place, like, almost like Porky's, like, Tom wants to go into some Porky's, thing here. He gets his buddy, apparently his buddy, his Italian buddy here, has, like, a talent of being able to get a big boner whenever he wants to. And they got them old school, like, desks that you sit in at school, and, like, it opens up, and you can put your books and stuff inside the desk. It's one of those, so, like, the top opens up like a, flip top. So this guy, like, makes the desk kind of push up the top of the desk with his boner. And then, there's, like, a girl who's, like, kind of looking, but not really. It's really Tom that's, like, fascinated by this boner. He's looking the most. He loves it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it was kind of out of place.
Yeah. But it kind of adds some depth to the character, because you don't think this boner guy is, like, going to, and, like, he does look like Richard Stabone from, what was that, Growing Pains. But
he's trying to tell him the teacher's coming.
Yeah. Craig T. Nelson, who's the football coach, he's also, the coach of this typing class.
The typing.
Yeah. He's about to come and see this guy's big boner pushing his desk up. So Tom has to slap the desk down real quick. Well, crushes this guy's boner and, like, kills him.
So weird.
There's like a lot of boner hijinks in the early 80s movies. Like, Mickey Rourke stuck his dick in a popcorn bucket. And Diner, and then you have this. And Porky's, obviously there was always the guy stick his dick through the peephole, and the ladies gym coach grabbed it. Here's Tom hanging out with the boner guy again. Like, everything's kind of all good, this movie.
So, like, they're joking around, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, the conversation gets, like, serious because it's that time of the year where, they're going to graduate and they're football players. So they, their big concern right now is getting recruited for schools.
Right.
But I liked how, like, that's one thing I really liked about this movie was that, like, there's all this, like, raunchy teen sex shenanigans going on. But then, like, there's also the serious side of these kids are actually, like, concerned for their futures and getting out of this town and trying to, make a life for themselves. Like, that, I don't know, like, to me, I feel like that's not really something that's, like, done much anymore. Now it's just about the shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, it impressed me how much his character cares about what happens to him, like, it's not that thing where he's living the, high school football hero dream and that's all he cares about and that's all that matters to him, like, then it's not like later in the story he's like, depressed because he's gonna be a nothing out of high school, once his football career is over in high school. It's like he actually cared about becoming something and learning and getting educated on something. And that thing of how they joke around and then talk about serious stuff, like, that happens through the whole movie, and I really like that.
Yeah, the movie, All the Right Moves is really about, like, and that's why I really like it as a, older person now, looking back on it, is it's all about those times where you make those like, there's a few different times in your life, really, but, this is kind of like the earliest part in your life where your decisions really matter and can affect, like, what you do for the rest of your life, you know what I mean?
That's the conversation they're having right now, that he's saying,
yeah,
my whole family's worked in those factories, I want to do something more than that.
Yeah. And
I like the line, I don't know if you can remember when he says it, but I didn't notice if he said it in this conversation, but I like how he says, they've been, making the steel. I want to do something with it after it's made. He says something like that somewhere in the movie, and I'm just like, that's like really cool. Like,
yeah, because he wants to be an engineer, so he wants to design the buildings.
Yeah,
using the metal.
Yeah,
and that was a great cameo there. This is an all-star cast, really, because like him and Leah Thompson are just eating lunch in like this darkened school auditorium. They're probably not supposed to be in there. And the teacher burst in, "Hey, is somebody in here?" And it was Dick Miller, the legendary Dick Miller, which I can't believe they flew him all the way out. It must have been like, the producer or director knew him personally. Mm-hmm. Legendary Dick Miller. Always great character actor and stuff. But it's like, usually you see him just pop up in a million movies shot in L.A., but like they really flew him cross country, just have him pop out for 1 second.
So we learned that he got into USC.
Yeah, Chris Penn. That's why I say he's, there's a couple of guys that are getting offers around this time, but I think he's probably the best one on the team because, USC's like, out of all the schools they mentioned, it's like the biggest powerhouse even back then.
They even mentioned Cal Poly later on, though.
Yeah.
Look at Tom Cruise getting...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, here's the real hairy guy. There's one real hairy guy on the team,
gosh.
hairy chest.
Why is he looking down at his crotch?
I know, even the size of his arms. But it's like the scene in the movie where it's still early. Like the movie gets more serious as it goes on, but it's all kind of like playing grab ass.
He's trying to teach him how to dance.
Yeah, Leon's trying to teach Tom how to dance. Tom's really getting into it.
They're having the time of their lives.
like when you see Tom dance all dorky now, he kind of has the same look on his face.
He even says, "Not bad for a white boy."
Yeah, and this scene goes on and on. These guys dancing and dancing. Everybody dancing up on the trainer table, everything.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, right before this started happening, like, they were talking about him getting in there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just got to keep my fantastic 2.0, GPA." I'm like, they're like saying these things that are like real serious, and like then they just start partying out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And here the coach is trying to get in on it too.
Yeah, Craig T wants to bust a move,
but they all think he's gonna ream them out.
Yeah. Speaking of working class, holy shit, this locker room is fucking trashy, man. It's like literally just hooks on the wall and that's it. No lockers to put your shit in. No, everybody just throw your clothes on the floor pretty much. And Craig T. Kind of got a Craig T thing going on. Last month we did Poltergeist and we were blown away by his performance. Not as much of a scene-stealing performance from Craig T this time around, but he's really fucking good.
Yeah, he really still, like, was a standout because of, like, the role he plays in this movie.
Yeah. And, like, that's what I mean. Like, when you watch this movie, like, if you were watching this for the first time, like, the other day or whatever, the way you were, like, when you're getting to this point, you're just like, okay, like, you think you know what the movie's going to be, kind of. It's like all these, like, poor kind of working-class kids, trying their dreams of football, helping them go to college, and then Craig T is this small town nothing football coach who wants to turn them into winners. Like, you think you know where the story's going, but it just ends up going in like a completely different direction. And I think that's what not only makes this movie unique, but also makes it like more realistic. Because this movie's actually more about the way people's like their dreams and their athletic dreams, their football dreams kind of go by the wayside more than they come true, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it really addressed that whole situation, of college recruitment and young athletes and what they go through. I mean, maybe it's not exactly the same like this now. It might even be worse. Who knows? Because now there's a lot of money involved with, like, colleges and stuff on the colleges end when they get popular with good players and all that. So I mean, I don't know, like, but I thought it was a good story to show like what the kids go through in those situations
and the pressure.
Yeah,
like just the even before you get to college to get a chance to either make it or not. And
even like the perspective of the other kids around them who aren't football players, like. Yeah. In that conversation he was having with the girlfriend, like, the girl was kind of like, oh, like, she was sad because he wanted to leave so bad.
Yeah.
But then later on you kind of realize, like, oh, it's because she's, wants to study music and, nobody's throwing money at her to like study music.
Nobody's kissing her ass, being like, "Oh, come to school." It's like
they don't care, about anything for football players in terms of grades and stuff, as long as they keep it at a 2.0. But for everybody else, you got to have all these high standards.
You would have to have like a 4.0 and be really outstanding at a certain instrument to get a music scholarship. Yeah. Whereas like football, it's like, you got to be good on the football field, but you can do the bare minimum schoolwork. You know what I mean? Which is true. That's how it is. And also too, like, this movie really rings true to me because we had like we had a good football team at the school I went to, but we had one standout player, running back. He was actually even Mr. Indiana in football, and like a big deal. He went to Ball State, and he just like completely like washed out within like probably a semester or two. Because he wasn't prepared academically or, to handle the pressure or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, I really, I really like this movie because it throws in all the shades in the gray of the experience.
So, like, in that conversation, the coach's wife just came up, and even they have the aspirations of him trying to get the promotion to a college because even he wants to get out.
Even the coach wants to get out.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm sure it's a huge pay grade to go from a high school coach / teacher, because like that's how my school was too. Is like the football coaches, the basketball coaches not so much. They were kind of like more the basketball coaches and other sports coaches. They were more real teachers who coached to make extra money. But the football coach, man, like. He was a football coach, and then he taught gym. It's like, come on. It's like, you know what I mean? He wasn't a real teacher. He was a dick, too. But, like I said, all-star cast, even in these tiny roles, we get Terry O'Quinn, famous guy. A couple years after this, got famous in horror movies playing the stepfather. Mm-hmm. He's here. He's trying to recruit Tom to his small school, pretty much guaranteeing him a spot. And, like, Tom's kind of cocky. But I do like this scene, though, other than just showing Tom being cocky. He's really just being cocky, not even because he's, like, so arrogant. He's just more cocky because he doesn't want to go to that school, really. Yeah. Whereas his dad and brother are sitting there being like, you can tell their reactions. They're kind of like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this kid's, like, shitting on this opportunity. But I do like the scene because Tom says, the guy's kind of like blowing smoke up Tom's ass about how good of a football player he is, and Tom knows he ain't that good. He's like, the NFL ain't calling for a 5'10" white cornerback or whatever. And, he's telling him, like, I want to use, he's like, but I know I'm good enough to play college football, so I want to use football to get my engineering degree. So,
but then here, this coach, that's like the part that's going to piss me off later on, is he says, if things fall through for you, you've got a place with me.
Yeah. And we find out later. Yeah. It says, I'm going to get a good scholarship, don't worry. And his older brother says, they're not beating down the door. And Tom's waiting for the Walnut Heights game to come, because it's a big hyped up game. All the scouts are going to be in there, so he thinks he's going to get even, bigger offers or whatever. Yeah. But right off the bat, just the fact that Tom really is only wanting to, go to college, play football in college just so he can get a degree. Like I said, like that's what's unique about this movie. You don't see that a lot. Mm-hmm. Now here we get like a crazy scene up on a cliff.
Super sexy.
Super sexual. There's 2 sex scenes pretty much. Well, this is not really a sex scene because they don't have sex, but they make out and like Tom finger bangs Leah Thompson here. And then we're talking like close up.
Yeah, that was one thing I thought was strange. Yeah. They're the shots of them fiddling around. So close.
I mean, the sex scenes between Tom and Leah Thompson in this movie, like, I don't know, like how, like, like I understand, like in a lot of movies you see the sex scenes and it's kind of like, you see how you could be faked, so you're not really that close. But this scene, like, Tom's putting his hand, like, straight down the front of her pants. Like, there's no room for error there. His hand is really there, you know what I mean?
You could see she's already kind of not wanting to...
Yeah. And you could tell, like, the type of character she is like, she just doesn't want to get knocked up and be, And then Tom's like, here, grab my dick. It's just like... It's like, get worried too that they're actually going to bump the car and have it roll off that cliff and shit. Like, hit it out of the park. Yeah, he's like doing serious finger banging. And like, I'm thinking it's the second sex scene between them because they get more naked. But there's like a weird controversy about this movie that they like resume some shots to not show Leah Thompson's bush, I guess. I guess you could see her bush in like some of the versions, like the original version. You can't see it on the Blu-ray. I don't know if it was there on the DVD or maybe it was all the way back to the VHS to see the bush, but this is technically the non-bush version.
Okay.
But I don't really care because you see a lot of other stuff. Like, it's not like sanitized. Like, it's not like it really got censored. It just.
But I mean, they show her upper half of her body.
Yeah, you see her breasts real good and everything, and there's a line in Scream. I think right before they go to the video store where the one character says like she wants to rent all the right moves because if you pause at the right place you can see Tom's dick.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Jeez. So I mean this is very I guess not for the time, but compared to what you see now, this was a very sexually explicit movie, you know what I mean?
I mean, it was to me now. Because I was like sitting here like, geez, like, are we actually going to see some contact here and like insertion? It's just like, it was just really how close they were shooting the shots. I was like, sheesh.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Like, I really don't know how to put it in a context, but oh yeah, here's the best part where she drives. Like, they're on a cliff. It's not a street. It's a cliff with like mud and grass, like, and no guardrail. Like, they're just literally driving down the cliff, like, where they're parked. It's so crazy. But, it's weird now that, like, we think that, like, shit has really become explicit. Like, we see all our pop stars, like, being naked and shit and doing all this. And, like, everybody's so, like, sexually liberated and stuff. And people have the power to do whatever they want sexually. But it's like, if you go back to the 80s, man, like, in the movies and stuff, like, shit was, like, way more sexual, I think.
Yeah.
This is, like, another scene. And, like, I have to say, Craig T's kind of like a dick coach. Because, like, he's...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he slaps the players' helmets. He grabs their face bags, pulling... Like, he's got to be strangling the shit out of these kids' necks and shit. Like, he's too rough. Like, I get he wants to make this point, but... Like, the other coaches, like, aren't dicks. And it's always weird how he's out there with the golf club. Like, I thought that was an odd touch.
It's his thing.
Yeah. Does he, like, when he gets really pissed, does he start beating them with the golf club?
Well, he hits people's legs with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get what that's about.
Yeah, go for it. Now, this is very important, because Tom, as a cornerback, he's trying to, like, block the reception of the pass from the receiver. And he basically just takes the guy out. And it's very crucial here. Craig T tells him, like, you go for the ball, not the man. If that was in a game, that would be a penalty.
Yeah.
And that's like foreshadowing of a big fuck up Tom has come on during the game.
Yeah. I like this part because you can see how hyped all those guys are getting.
Yeah.
Like, legit.
I mean, if you're as young as these guys were, like, I think a lot of these guys were legit, 19, 20, 21 years old.
Yeah.
There's a few older guys kind of standing in the background, but, like, at that age, I think that'd be a lot of fun, whether some of these guys had experience or not, I don't know, playing football. I'm sure they probably did.
Look, Tom's getting all...
He's
Tom. Getting all locked out.
But, I mean, it'd be fun to put the pads on and just scrimmage and run through the plays, I'm sure they shot a lot of the practice stuff.
It's just, I think this is one thing, too, that reminded me of, like, it's not okay for boys to act like this now. And, like, I mean, I love seeing how, like, riled up they were getting, how, like, yeah,
like rabid dogs.
I mean, no, I don't like that. That's one thing I don't like when people compare. I mean, it's mostly sports commentators or analysts or whatever when they refer to the athletes as dogs and all that. But they're just men that are like, I guess in this case, young men that are just getting all riled up and getting like macho, It's like, you gotta win, that's, I don't know, I like that. But now it's like, that's not allowed. It's not okay. You get flags for dancing around when you make a touchdown. It's just so stupid. Like,
yeah.
And then they wonder why, men have such aggression in situations where they shouldn't. It's just like, because they don't have an outlet. Like, nobody lets them be men. Nobody lets them be boys,
Yeah.
So it's like, I just like seeing that, it was actually okay back then to act like that, and,
No, this is... Yeah. No, this scene is really, like, the turning point of the movie. Like, we had the kind of, like, the sexual tension, the frustrating, the arguing between Tom and Leah Thompson over whether or not they're going to have sex. But, I mean, that wasn't, like, too heavy. But this is the scene where the movie takes a turn to being, like, permanently kind of serious. Because, like, it's like the pep rally. You think, oh, it's going to be all some rah-rah-rah bullshit. You got all the cheerleaders. You get the band playing.
Oh, I just noticed that girl is a cheerleader. I guess is he the quarterback? The Chris Penn guy?
No, he's like the linebacker.
Well, I just noticed that his girlfriend is was the cheerleader in the front.
Yeah. Like, I noticed her, like, throughout the rest of the movie, but, I didn't even realize she was the cheerleader. But, yeah, here's the one guy. I'm blanking on his name.
What is he? Like, why is he in a suit now? Who is he?
I mean, he just works at the school. I mean, he's clearly a former football hero, though. Like, they never come out and say it, But he's kind of like the loser guy who, like, couldn't get past his past glory, Because, like, all his little dweeb buddies look up to him, too, Yeah. And like, he's kind of given the, like, make Ampipe football great again speech, Because he's talking about, we were great back in the day, and now we're getting back. So, I mean, it's obvious that this, this team, this town hasn't had much, and, they put a lot of stock into the local high school football game.
And when you can see what the culture is like in the area, that they're very dedicated to those steelworker, community there. Because everything is for them, everybody's,
Yeah. And it's like tough, like, even when, all the jobs were there or whatever, it's still tough work. Tom's coming into the pep rally late, which I always wondered, like, where he was or whatever. But yeah, Chris Penn pulls him aside and they go talk. This is actually one of my favorite scenes right here. Him and Chris Penn talking. This is where it gets serious, and he just comes out and tells Tom that, hey, I got my girlfriend pregnant and all that. And then, like, Tom is really, like, more in shock than Chris Penn is, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, they talk about, well, is your girlfriend going to have an abortion and all this? And, Chris Penn's like, no, she ain't going to go for that. And he's like, well, you can still go to school, USC. Because you can tell Tom really wants his friend to go to USC and become a big football player, Because, I mean, USC, everybody, it's just one of those schools, like, everybody, like, from the best guy on the team to the, guys that just occasionally play, like, you're all going to get scouted there, for the pros playing for USC. But, yeah. And I just, like, I love how they go in this little, like, side hallway kind of thing, and just the shots, and it's just a great juxtaposition because they're having this quiet, serious conversation, and meanwhile the whole rest of the school, like really the rest of the town is actually, because all the town people are there too, are going batshit into this pep rally.
Yeah, because they're having the players announced.
Yeah, and then they announce, his name's Brian Riley, Chris Penn's character. He has to go out now and give this speech about how they're gonna beat Walnut Heights and all this kind of shit, after just, like, confronting us. And Tom's still in shock. It just, I don't know, like, the way that scene was set up, I think is brilliant.
Because he had this dream of them leaving that town together.
Yeah, he wanted them both to leave and make it.
And now it's all...
Yeah.
It's all over.
And, like, Chris Penn comes out and gives a speech, we're going to win, It's obviously, like...
He doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, well, it's just, like, awkward, and he's got a lot internally going on. I just think it's a great piece of acting. I mean, Chris Penn is a hell of an actor, and I really don't know, like, what went wrong or whatever. I'm assuming he had some type of drug issue. I mean, he died pretty young, unless it was just a straight-up heart attack, but, yeah. Just a waste. I mean, a very different actor than his brother Sean, but very good in his own right. And I love this shot here. Tom just stunned back in the hallway. The confetti's like raining down. It's like a little bit in slow motion. Just great. That's what I love about this movie. It's just like simple story, but the emotion, it holds the emotion like so well.
And it's just crazy that like you swear it's happening to him. You swear like his girlfriend is the one that got pregnant. And like, I mean, Chris Penn was sad about it and down. You could tell it's affecting him, but like it's just crazy how much like it's affecting Tom's character.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, and some, other things happen, and we'll get to it as it happens in the movie, but yeah, Chris Penn's crying on the bus. Like,
man, like, I've been, like, they're putting the lyrics up with the subtitles on the song, and it's like, all the songs are, like, all about this movie, and what the characters are going through.
Yeah, I think they're all original songs for the movie.
Because, like, the scene when they were in the car, like, making out or whatever, like, even that last chance at love and all this stuff, because it's like, they know they're going to be separated or whatever when they graduate.
Yeah, it's like the atmosphere on the bus for the team rolling into Walnut Hills is just like, it's kind of like very, downbeat, just everybody just looking out, always raining in this movie pretty much.
The lyrics on this one, the last stand on this one too, like they're all the lyrics of the song are all about what they're experiencing.
Yeah, and they roll into the opposing team's school, and like they're just in disbelief. It's such a big modern school. They walk into the locker room, they're blown away by it.
Like what you said, this is what a real locker room looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the locker room at my school, how it looked. And they carry the old ball from when, old crumpled up football from last time the team was state champs or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just thought this is interesting. Tom, I think they show him later, Tom always wears a cross on a chain. And he has to actually tape it down for when he plays. So it's not all bouncing around and shit. Yeah, here it is when he tapes the cross down. And then the boner guy, he gets like, it's crazy because everybody's got millions of tape rolls and he's all mad. Somebody took my tape roll and he wants to fight and shit. Like, just the tension. We found out more with his character, Vucci. I think that's short. I think his name's like Stavucci or something like that. But we found out more the kind of why he's so high strung and shit later on. But like everybody's got, even the minor characters in this movie have like internal tension going on. Like, there's a lot of, they're not able to really enjoy this high school football experience the way they should.
I'm, like, getting all into the movie again. Like, I'm just watching it, like,
good.
What's gonna happen?
And,
I just am watching their emotions on their face without the sound, and it's just, like, being able to watch their expressions and, like, how their physical reactions to things, like how he was just banging his head on there. It's just, like... It's interesting even without the sound.
I mean, the movie definitely, it milks everything that it can in a good way. The way you want to, it takes the time to focus on the story and the character's emotion.
I like the speech he gives them.
Yeah. It's a pretty good motivational speech by Craig T.
And he says it like it is, like...
Yeah.
Can't remember the words that he says, but he brings up their race and like that's all they see us as.
Yeah, he talks about like he basically plays up the angle like they all think we're like poor trash. They call us the Polacks and the Wops and the niggers and all this kind of shit. Yeah. But he's like that's what you guys are. That's what I am. That's what basically we are together. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like a unifying thing. And he is a good coach as much as he's a hard ass or whatever. Like, I do find him genuine in that he believes in the players. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He just seems like he's just a tough coach kind of guy.
Yeah. But
it was one thing that we were talking about when we were first watching this was how all the people, like all the guys on the team, like they're so normal looking, like just normal looking guys with like zits and like just not what you would see now where everybody's all like hunky or baby faced or like
yeah, you can tell the difference when you get like real guys to flesh out a movie like this and then when you just cast all Hollywood people to like like there is a difference. And for the gritty approach that this movie was taking, I think obviously they did it the right way. Because it's weird because you think, like, how could a movie not be glossy and bullshit that stars Tom Cruise? But that's what I, like about Tom's early stuff like this and his role in The Outsiders, and even in Losing It, even though he plays a clean-cut kid in that, he's still very, down to earth. And I think Tom, because he's one of the biggest box office global stars of all time and whatnot, I think it gets really lost how good his early career really was in terms of playing his young, roles.
And like they're really like diverse too, because I'm only watching the movies before the 1990. Like, I was looking up the titles that he has because there's a handful, and like I was kind of reading short descriptions of what they were, and I was like, what the heck? Like, there's so many weird things, like that Legend or whatever it is, like that weird sci-fi one. I'm like, what? He was in a movie like that? Like, it just seems so weird. And then yeah, like all the other. Well, it seems like he started playing like older roles too, kind of right away. Like,
yeah, he did. Like he never went through that period where like, okay, Tom, you played your high school roles.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna play college roles for 5 or 6 years. Nah, he just went because he was too hot. Like he
went from like high school, and then he was like a 21-year-old that could have a bar job.
Well, it was really like, even though he was still in his mid-20s or whatever, he went from his high school roles to Top Gun, and then once he did Top Gun, that was it. Your leading man status. There ain't no leading man in college. Like, you're playing grown up,
Yeah.
So that's when he started doing, Color Money and, shit, I'm blanking. The other really big movie that he did, he did Cocktail too. But he kind of played the shifty, lays about guys for a couple years too, and then all of a sudden he was like in stuff like The Firm, playing lawyers and shit and race car drivers and all that. But I really like Tom's early stuff because, he, like, I don't know, it's so weird because when you see him in his big star vehicles, it's like he's basically just playing Tom Cruise. And I didn't even like Tom in the 90s at all because I went to see all these movies. And not that they were bad movies or anything, but I kind of was always getting the same thing out of him. And I was like, oh, this guy can't act. And, just like everybody else, I hadn't watched his older movies in a long time, but it wasn't probably like the early 2000s, just going back and either through Netflix or maybe when I worked at the video store, like I rediscovered all his old shit, like this movie and Losing It and whatever, and I'm just like, damn, I really like young Tom,
Yeah, he did Risky Business, Color Money, Rain Man.
Yeah, Rain Man was another one where he was probably like 26, but he was playing a role that was clearly written for a 40-year-old man. Because, I mean, Dustin Hoffman's supposed to be his brother, and he's like fucking 30 years older than him. But, yeah. But I really do like his early stuff, and I think the thing that's surprising is a lot of his early performances are very nuanced.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's really even Tom's fault later on, like he's such a bad actor. I think it's just what the studios wanted, what the producers wanted, what the directors wanted was something different. He gave it to them.
I thought the part of the game was actually really good. Like,
yeah,
they had to go by fast.
Like,
they didn't make like the whole movie just football tension, like,
no.
and keep it dragging on. But it was still like pretty. There was still a lot of tension, even though it was like short.
Yeah, Tom just caught an interception, ran it back for a TD, which kind of breathed. Tom kind of breathed. You see the coach embracing him and stuff, but it's like Tom kind of breathed new life into the team because like they were down and had no life, and as soon as Tom gets his touchdown, it starts pouring rain, and then this is where the game's going to turn really ugly. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing, how we're talking about storytelling, like that it's not just about the sports aspect of the movie, like. I think the reason why it worked to have a shorter kind of football scene here, like game situation scene here, for like for us to understand what happens in the whole game, is that we already know the setup of the story and how important this game is.
Right. Yeah.
Because we already know the recruiters are there. All of the boys are relying on this game for them to be seen, and like, so it's like all that was set up before the game even happened, so you don't need to sit here and watch like pretty much half of a whole game in the time of a real half game, you know? So it's like...
Well, exactly, and like, you know, as a director, and I guess probably the writer too, maybe, you could have just had like the game be 30 minutes out of the movie, because it's really the first and the last football game. We saw the practices and stuff, but this is actually the only game that's portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
But instead of just making the game part,
so
like,
it is his big.
Yep, Tom fucked up. He pass interference. He just grabbed the guy's back of his shoulders and rode him into the ground.
Yeah.
And then Tom gets really out of line, you know, accusing the ref of being biased or whatever. But instead, the director, he chose to show them, you know, the bus ride coming in, the pep rally, of course, and then also the scene in the locker room, the tension, like, so like you said, like, before they even kicked off the game, we knew what was on the line here.
Oh, here, look, they have those stickers on their helmets, too.
Yeah, they got the stickers on their helmets.
I just noticed that.
Which, I mean... Granted, I don't know much about high school football, but I mean, you always see that in college, but I didn't know high school guys did the sticker thing, too.
I never saw that when I was watching the games all the time.
It's just a pride thing, you know, to mark plays that you've made or whatever. But it's kind of interesting, too, because the way they phrase it, you know, his girlfriend is not just his, like, girlfriend in the stands or whatever. She's in the band, so, like, she's always there playing, so we get to see her.
Yeah.
You know, being part of everything.
And the cheerleader girlfriend, too.
Yeah.
I actually was in both of those positions.
You were in band, too?
Yeah.
What
I did it instead of PE for my freshman and sophomore years.
Yeah. No.
I didn't do anything. I just played the tambourine.
Just tambourine?
Yeah.
Did you actually, like, practice and have sheet music and shit?
No. I tried the flute for a little bit during that time, but that was hard, man. Flutes are hard to play. Like, you have to breathe into them.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to blow across that little hole. So
yeah, it's weird. I could hardly ever get a sound out of them. It might have been because I had some cheapy one from, like, JCPenney or something, too. But, yeah, like, I had a hard time with that.
Here you have, because it's so muddy and shit, Stavucci fumbles the ball. And then he pretty much takes the blame for the loss. No time left. The Knights win, which that's the other team.
That was so, like, well, because, I mean, you know, I'd never seen this before. Like, that was so heart-wrenching.
Yeah, when he dropped the ball.
Well, really, it was like once it started raining, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. And Stavucci, like, the look on his face there. A lot of great slow-mo, like, the looks on people's faces and shit. Which is, I'm sure that's how, agonizing that feels at that time.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, they're on the locker room.
So quiet. Like, the scene, it was so sad.
Covered in mud. And not only that, but you could just tell everybody's so physically exhausted. It's really that moment that's hard with sports when you combine... You know, the physical exhaustion is one thing, but when you combine it with the emotional exhaustion, yeah.
Especially with loss.
Yeah, a loss like that.
These poor kids.
Yeah. Salvucci, that was his full name, yeah.
I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah, he's just crying.
He's bawling. I mean, he was crying as soon as the fumble happened, pretty much.
Was it his fault? Yeah, huh?
I mean, technically he fumbled, but fuck, man, that shit was so slippery.
Yeah.
It wasn't even so much that he fumbled, it's just he never had, like, possession of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And, like, everybody's so mean to him.
I know. Yeah, Craig T, he goes off, or, like, he's crying his eyes out, and he's telling him, you know, why don't you have a real cry? You know, and he's screaming at him for choking. You quit on me. You quit. And that's kind of Craig T's shitty thing. Is whenever somebody fucks up, he always says, "You quit. You quit." Like it's like kind of shitty over top.
I like this part when Tom Cruise is like, "No, fuck you, dude."
Yeah. Yeah. Tom says, "Salvucci didn't quit. None of us quit." You know, we beat those guys up, and you know he's trying to rally. You know. You know, we beat him so hard, played him so hard. We got nothing to be ashamed of. And he says it was just a fluke. then Craig T's like, no, you suck. You know, he just totally. I don't know. Like, I think that's what makes this thing interesting too. Is like, Tom does stand up against the coach here when, you know, probably would have been in his best interest to stay quiet. But I appreciate that he stood up for his teammate and his friend. You know what I mean?
But I think it's because he has that perspective that football isn't life.
Yeah.
You know, he's able to see the effort that they still put in because, you know, there's other things that are more important than the game.
Yeah. Now Craig T starts in on Tom about his pass interference call, saying you cost us the game too.
Rubbing it in.
Yeah. And that is where Tom just gets really, you know, saying, well, if you would have done this, then we would have won the game. We didn't quit. You quit.
Yeah.
And then just like that, like, I mean, it's not like I don't think Tom is like that out of line. I mean, other than if you really just believe you should never say anything back to the coach. But it wasn't like he cussed him or called him a name. And just like that, Craig T kicks him off the team.
I mean, he was in the wrong, like, you know, talking back to him like that. But I don't think it warranted getting kicked off the team.
No.
I like this part, too. He's
like,
I'm with you, man.
Yeah. Fuck this shit.
Jeez.
Yeah. Somebody left their stupid sign about beating the bulldog, which is Thompson. He kicks that shit out of the way. You don't take that shit. I felt this scene was so realistic, too, where Tom is like, just the look he has on his face when he's going to walk in the bus, and the coach is a dick, and like, no, you're off the team. You can't ride in the bus. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. It's like such a dick move to kick the guy off the team, and then be like, your last high school game ever, maybe your last football game ever, you can't even ride back with your friends.
Ride with the cheerleaders.
Yeah, ride with the band and the cheerleaders.
We're still part of the team.
Yeah. Then Leah Thompson comes out, you know, trying to get him to come on the bus, but Tom just wants to disappear, even though he's like miles and miles away from home, you know what I mean? He's like, fuck it. He gets a ride in the back of somebody. Keep in mind it's pouring rain. He gets a ride in the back of somebody's truck, drinking beer, all soaking wet and shit. And like I said, like, this is why I think this movie's good too. Just this sequence of him hitchhiking home and then the misadventure he's going to get into in a little bit and shit. Yeah. It's like, you know, I think it's pretty realistic.
I said we because I used to be a cheerleader, FYI.
Yeah. Well, how would they do that? Did they have two different buses? I mean, they had to because the football team took up so much.
Yeah.
Would the actual players all fit on one bus by themselves?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure. I think so. I never saw them with two that I can remember, but
yeah,
I don't know. And I think the band had their own too.
Yeah, they probably would have. I mean, there's a lot of equipment to lug around too.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would shove the equipment on the bus or take it separate or what.
Oh, so here you see how seriously the adults take the games too.
Because it's like the local watering hole where everybody is after the game, voicing their disappointment. Some stupid drunk mouths off to Tom's dad. Tom's dad punches him right in the fucking face.
The brother's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah. You ever see Tom at a gas station? He's trying to hitch a ride.
Why did they just leave him?
I just think whoever he hitched a ride with was only going so far, and took him as far as he could. Tom got these beers like everywhere. He's got them in his pockets, everything. He's getting drunk.
Yeah.
Which I would too. I mean, if it's cold as fuck out like that, trust me, it does help to drink. You won't feel it as much. I love how finally the one slob guy that works at the school, when he picks him up, the car full of guys, like, Tom just fell into that back seat. He's like, woo!
So they were at that bar, and then they laughed.
Yeah. Now they're giving Tom even more liquid courage, passing him the flask and shit. And Tom has no idea. He just, like, got into the car because, he knew the guys, whatever. Well, he would have gotten anybody's car. He was actually hitchhiking, but, obviously he knows these guys. They're going to give him a ride home and shit. It's going to be okay. But then he finds out that they're actually stopping at the coach's house and they're going to fuck it up. Mm-hmm. And first Tom's like, oh, holy shit, I'm just going to stay here. And then the slob guy's like, come on, you gotta go, you gotta come.
I would have just stayed in the car if I was him.
Yeah, I would have stayed in too. I'd be like, holy shit, like, especially if you had any intention to try to get back on the team, like,
Nah.
But, you know, Tom's drunk now.
Yeah.
So Tom grabs the garbage bag and he throws the trash, kicks the Ruffles bag and shit. And then Craig T and his wife, they start...
Oh, see, here. I should have had Rifleman hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
He's admitting that he knew what Tom said was right.
Yep.
And he still kicked him off the team.
His pride, he's like, who cares? Respect my authority. I'm Craig T. Nelson, the football coach. But these guys really go overboard with the vandalism of Craig T's house because they spray paint it, that he's a choker. They spray paint his cars. I mean, this is like thousands and thousands of dollars of slashing tires. This is thousands of dollars of damage. Even Tom was like, hey, you're going too far, man.
And he's drunk.
Yeah.
Even he knows that shit's...
And the big fat bully guy pushes Tom down. Tom tried... They even killed... Yeah, this is fucked up. I can't... Like, is this like some... Pennsylvania voodoo or what? Like, they fucking slit this chicken's throat and then they hung it on. They made a tiny noose for a chicken and hung it on the porch. It's so fucked up.
He sees him.
Yeah, Craig T sees Tom.
Just leave him.
Yeah, Tom's trying to get back in the car. They're pulling off and shit. And this is a funny shot too, where Tom just like runs into the fucking hills. Like you don't even know where he's at.
For sale, loser, get out, choke. Oh my god, so terrible.
It was overboard.
Yeah.
And then, like, we cut to, like, Monday at school, football practice. Tom is going. And he's going to try to play it real cool, you know? Like, oh, maybe the coach didn't know it was me or something. He tries to go up to Craig T and get back on the team. And Craig T's like, no, you made your choice. I'm a hard ass, blah, blah, blah. Which, I guess it was probably pretty late in the season, but I was curious how many... I think they only had like 1 or 2 more games left at this point.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the end of the season.
Yeah. But I
think there's 1 more game left.
Yeah.
Because it's the last home game.
Yeah. But when I say this movie's so good, because like even the way Tom is like acting here... Like, he's not just as an actor, like, acting the scene out. Like, the way he's being nervous and looking down at the ground and shit. It really is the way, like, a 17-year-old kid would talk to the coach. And, you know what I mean? Like, like they really got the dynamic down.
He just walked away from him when he was talking.
Yeah. He's trying to half-ass apologize, answer back on the team. Craig T's like, nah. Craig T, he's going to be a hard ass. He's going to ride this out to the end. And
even though he knows he was wrong.
Yeah.
What he was throwing at him.
Well, see, I think this is Craig T's mistake. In he finally has to confront himself and be honest with himself later on in the movie. But I think Craig T's mistake as a coach in this situation was he let the loss tear them apart.
Yeah. Instead
of unite them and make them stronger, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what he even says, too. Like, you always said together. What happened to together? Like, he tells him that at one point.
Yeah.
Tom says that to the coach.
It's like when people always tell you you're part of a family, and then when they don't need you anymore, it's not a family anymore. It's like that type of thing.
Or just in general, like, they say you're a family, and then when shit gets rough, like, it turns out to be one for all.
Yeah.
Like, you're all on your own.
Yeah, everybody for themselves.
Yeah, there you
go. Tom ain't having it. He tells him you're fucked. And then this is like kind of like where he gets even more like
Jeez.
serious. Yeah, Tom's rolling through these hobbit hills of houses here, trying to catch up to his girlfriend.
He just like ran over the slide.
Yeah. And I mean, like even this scene, just like the backdrop of the houses and the way it is, and it's like they almost look like farms and shit, like the little bundles of sticks and shit everywhere.
Yeah, those like individual houses are like apartments or something.
Yeah, there's like
work?
I don't know.
There's just like one entryway.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like
mini apartments.
But it's like this backdrop. I mean, it's like they couldn't have found a better place to like tell this story. Then they have this scene in front of this shitty old basketball hoop, like.
See, she's telling him on this part, like, you'll get your football scholarship and I'll get nothing.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is where it's like, okay, not only is, like, Tom fucked with his football, but he can't even, like, fall back on his girl. His girlfriend, like, she pretty much wants to break up with him.
Well, she does. She gives him back his ring.
Yeah, his class ring.
Here. Because he yelled at her in front of everybody.
Yeah, he made her look like a fool.
She said, no way.
He didn't want to get on the cheerleader bus.
Tell him!
Yeah. She said nobody in Ampipe gets a music scholarship, just football scholarships. So I'll be a grocery clerk.
That's sad. When she said that, I was like, oh, fuck, that's fucked.
So it's like now he's forced to deal with the reality of, you know, his girlfriend's situation. Because there's really no, you know, there's no dream of going on to play high school football. I mean, he's hoping to scramble opportunity, but, you know, you're kind of fucked when you get kicked off your high school team during the season.
Yeah, now he has nothing.
Yeah.
That was his way out.
I mean, obviously, like, they're playing, like, they're young, high school, you know, characters and stuff, but it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if it's the dynamic of the situations they're in pushing them apart, but, like, I think Leah Thompson and Tom Cruise, like, they actually make a really good couple in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's really believable, I think, about those relationships when you're young, either in school or just other parts of your life that are, like, transitional and whatnot. It's like you have feelings for somebody and you're with somebody, but at the same time, like, anytime there's a change in life, like, it could almost, like, tear the relationship apart at any moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like everything is, like, so precious but so fragile, like, hanging in the balance. Yeah, finally Tom apologized for always trying to fuck all the time.
And she's like, you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you know that? She's like, because I know you're a horn dog.
Yeah, he said, you're so gorgeous, can't help it. That's why I'm always whipping it out.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But he's, like, so genuinely sad that he, like, is acting like an a-hole, you know?
He really is. Like, I mean, especially in this day and age of, like, fucked up, nobody caring about story movies. Like, I really wish Tom could, you know, go back to playing these more simpler drama roles.
So here we learn more about Salvucci.
Yeah, Salvucci. He's trying to talk to Craig T about dropping out of school so he can get a job because everybody in his family got laid off. And then he's trying to go to the coach genuinely with his problems, but Craig T blows him off to talk to some big-time college scout guy who's there. Like Craig T, he's big league in everybody because he's on his way to college coaching ranks and whatever.
Oh, now he tells him, you're no quitter.
Yeah.
Even though that's what he said to him.
Yeah. Yeah, and this guy
He actually wanted to see.
Yeah, he wants to see film on.
Oh, I didn't hear him say that before.
Yeah, this is the moment where he wants to see the tape on Tom and Craig T. Blacklist, or blackball, however you want to put it, blackball, blacklist.
And
Tom.
even the scout's like, oh, that must have been a hard decision for you. And he's like, yeah, it was. Like, because he knew it fucking wasn't. He just did it.
Yeah, he totally assassinates Tom's character, and that's all it takes, you know. With these college, as soon as a player gets labeled a discipline problem, a distraction, especially in football, that's one thing I can never stand about football, and particularly the NFL, is like biggest, strongest, toughest, hardest sport. And everybody's like, we don't want any distractions. Oh, we don't want to. Like, they're so sensitive. They can't deal with anybody.
This part, too, like, I just really was like, fuck, this shit sucks. Like, he's saying he got laid off, and so did 700 others. It's like, holy shit. Like, that's like... And, I mean, that's, like, normal there, like, for just large groups of people to get fired. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, because in the scene before Salvucci, he was telling the coach, hey, I need to quit school and get a job. Because, you know, my family, they all lost their jobs. And then Tom gets home from school that day and finds out his brother lost his job. And it's just like, it's kind of, I don't even think it's the first wave, but it's the you know, the current wave of layoffs of, you know, the town is slowly dying. The steel mill's not going to provide a living for people for much longer. Which, like I was telling you the other day, I was surprised that in the early 80s that was already happening in the country, that the steel mill workers were already like losing their jobs and shit.
Here she's serenading him with her sexy saxophone.
Yeah, Friday night, Tom's just in his room by himself doing mechanical drawings, doing the dimensions of, I don't know, some vice grip looking thing.
Look how he's running.
Yeah, Leah Thompson's in her band uniform playing saxophone all sexy. And Tom runs down the street, and I love it how he actually has to stop and like look for a second across the street before he runs across.
I gotta say, like, we didn't have like cool like tops like she has.
Yeah.
We just had these like sweater turtleneck things. I don't even think they were turtlenecks actually. That was a cheerleading uniform, but the band ones we wore were just like these itchy like sweaters and like these blue like slacks. I did not feel sexy in any way.
No.
And here she's like, she shows up and she's trying to be all like attractive with it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's funny.
Tom, he don't need much to get going. I mean,
that's true.
He's always horny. But,
it's just funny.
But I'm sure too. I'm sure the wardrobe department, they probably like custom fit hers to not be as like garbage bag is
well, it's pretty form fitting on the waist.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I bet they took that.
I don't think they look like that.
No.
Like normal ones.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a coat, actually. Yeah.
And then like she's asking where everybody is, and like, oh, my brother's at the bar. He got laid off. My dad's at work. So, she,
Yeah, I could call someone.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, like, basically, yeah, she came over to throw a piece on Tom here, finally. She's not only going to give it up, but it's her idea. And I found it interesting, like, I feel like, in a way, I mean, they've been, like, going steady for a long time, it seemed like, and everything. They both were waiting, but I feel like she finally, when she gives her virginity up or whatever, it's, she's kind of throwing Tom like a pity fuck here because he's so sad he can't play football anymore.
I don't think so.
No.
Well, I mean, obviously she's doing it because, like, I mean, this is really the only time they can because he's actually home on a Friday night. So
yeah. It's almost like Tom has his own apartment upstairs because, like, he has his own outside door and shit.
But isn't it just like a patio or a balcony or something?
Yeah, it goes down some steps and stuff.
I didn't know.
But I mean, it has its like own entrance right there.
Yeah.
And this is like, you're being authentic to like the location where she takes off her band uniform and she got fucking long johns on, thermal underwear and shit. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's what you would need if you were really going to stand out at the football game all night. Yeah, this is a scene where all the nudity comes into play. I'm assuming this is the scene where they had to zoom out her bush. Oh, Tom's taking his cross off. He's going to do the naughty.
But he's being very careful with it.
Again, there's just like, I don't know what you would call it, like an innocence to this that, because Tom was banging everybody in his movies back then, now that I think about it. Because I'm pretty sure he bangs Shelley Long and Losing It. And of course, he bangs Rebecca De Mornay all over the town in Risky Business. But this is the one where it's actually like a meaningful love scene.
What I thought it was funny though was like how bad
Tom's bush.
How bad he was like trying to always get a piece.
Yeah.
But then like I mean there's always like the mistake of getting pregnant, so I just thought it was funny how he was like so mad at the friend he was like, oh, you're so stupid or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, you're trying to do the same thing. It's like
I mean, unless it was just like a thing of like they're just not showing whatever for time or whatever, but like you don't see Tom whipping out any rubbers here or anything. Yeah. Like they pretty much like just get in the bed and have sex and all that. Tom, and that's why I always say this movie I think was shot before some of those other ones, because Tom, he just has a more like boyish look to his face. It's hard to describe.
He does. Sometimes he looks young, sometimes he looks older. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like that shot of him before he got in the bed, like he looked like a little boy.
Like right there, he looks like a kid, like he's all skinny and shit. But it is kind of interesting how much, what do you call it? How much emphasis they put on that love scene, kind of.
Yeah. Well, because it's the first time for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for Tom,
and, like,
too.
They, they basically set up that, like, she'd been turning him down, trying to do it in the right place. Like, she didn't want to just do it in a car.
Yeah.
She wanted it to be special.
That's where it looks like Leon's drinking a beer there. They're just hanging out in the school auditorium. Guy's smoking a cigarette. Another guy's drinking milk. Leon's drinking a beer. It looks like they're watching the choir practice for probably like the Christmas recital or whatever it is.
I think it's funny that they showed that. Where is she? She's like not in that shot.
In that last shot.
I think it's the 3 Kings of Typing or Speed, Accuracy, and what was it? The third one?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rewind it, but it would mess up our sync here. But yeah, the school, the Christmas setting thing. And then it just jumps to the reception at Chris Penn's house for, they got married or whatever. Chris Penn and his girlfriend.
In the writing, it even says it in the language.
Yeah. I think they're supposed to be Polish.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's like, so they got married, I guess, over Christmas break.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you're going to get married in high school, that's a good time. Get a couple weeks off.
Take your honeymoon in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because they're going to Pittsburgh for their honeymoon to go to a Penguins game.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, they're going to Penguins.
That's funny. I didn't see him say that.
And this is kind of the scene where Tom and Chris Penn kind of reconcile that, Chris Penn ain't going to play football anymore. He just, I think it was about the 3rd time he says, I'm going to have a kid. He just keeps saying that.
Oh, so that's what I thought. Like, the coach was actually the 2nd choice. They got another, because he says a guy from Alapacua or whatever had got a better offer somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Craig T's coaching. Yeah, he was supposed to go to one school and whatever, and yeah. So, I mean, just like with the players, it's all moving parts. It's the same thing with Craig T, too, where he's going to end up. And they reference that, Tom and Chris Penn, they always dreamt of growing up to play for the Steelers. It's hard when you have to give up on your childhood dreams like that.
Yeah.
Here's where shit starts getting real dire. Some fucking old lame-ass square cops show up at the school. And then they're going to go into the classroom here in a second and scoop up Salvucci. Then Craig T happens to be walking by as they arrest him or whatever. And it's kind of a heartbreaking moment, too, because, like, Salvucci's yelling for Coach to help him and stuff. And, like, Craig T's like, what happened? What are you doing? They tell him, yeah. Yeah, they start roughing him up, like, right away in the classroom.
Brutality.
Pennsylvania police brutality. Because, like, instead of just asking him to come out of the thing, he wasn't, like, really fighting. They just wanted to, like, pin his arms back or whatever. Yeah. They say he did an armed robbery. So, like, we knew his family was hurting for money.
Oh, my gosh, that's sad.
He was trying to talk to you, Craig T. You wanted to kiss some college recruiter ass. Now it's getting double desperate.
I like her cute hat she has on.
Yeah, she's got a good outfit on. They go into
the great hair.
Yeah, her hair still does look nice. They go into the local bar to ask the Bosco, that's his name, Bosco, the bully guy Bosco, if he could, talk to the coach because he's getting blackballed and stuff, and tell him, it wasn't my fault that you guys trashed his house. But of course, Bosco ain't going to admit to shit. He's like a sleazy fuck. And then they just,
this guy.
Yeah, they just laugh at Tom's face. They're like, oh, we don't know what you're talking about. Ho, 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 we weren't there, blah, blah, blah. All
He's
that
so
shit.
lame. Like, there's he's such like what you said, like, just the high school bully that couldn't let go of high school.
Yeah, but now he's like 40 years old or whatever. Really sucks, but it's like getting thrown off the team really would have hurt Tom's offers probably. But it's like
now Tom insulted the mill.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy tries to stick up for the steel mill. You know, the mill that built this town. He's like, yeah, the mill that laid my brother off and stuff. This is where Bosco gets real nasty. He says, "Oh, you think you're too good for us? Don't you want Pollock pussy or whatever he said?" Like, then he assaults Leah Thompson. So like, yeah, like this shit gets real raw here in a second.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So nasty.
Yeah. Then all the minions of Bosco start beating up Tom
beating
and
up
shit.
on kids.
Yeah.
So lame.
I was glad though. At least the bartender like stepped in. Like, hey, like you ain't gonna do this shit in my bar.
No bleeding.
Yeah. Tom got a bloody nose.
Kick that fucker out. Ugh.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
He's like watching Jabba the Hutt. He's so disgusting.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What a lame fucker.
Vaguely threatening Tom. So now...
Is that a Pinto?
Yeah, it is. So now Leah Thompson has to go to the coach's house to talk to the coach's wife. Because, like, this blackballing situation, I mean, it's pretty much probably already fucked. But Craig T, like, you know, not passing the tape along to the college recruiters, giving a bad name to Tom. It's, like, really got his future in doubt and shit.
I like how everybody just gets a random ride from anybody.
Yeah, they do. Everybody's like hitchhiking, which is funny because it's like it's not like this town is pretty spread out as you can see. Like nothing's really like that close together, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's like this is like a scene probably you wouldn't like see in a lot of movies, but I think it's like good writing. Whereas like the girlfriend goes to talk to the coach's wife, like I don't think you would see that in a lot of movies. It's like not something you would think of, you know, would happen. Yeah, here's what really sucks is Tom's on the phone trying to get them crappy offers that he had for the schools he didn't really want to go to, and like they're all blowing him off. Nobody's interested anymore. And like the one school that promised him a spot no matter what, they blow him off.
And she's asking about her. She still has one more year left.
Yeah, Leah Thompson actually is just a junior. She's not graduating. It's a great shot. Like, this was really well thought out, this conversation, because you get to see the town behind them. It kind of like...
It looks like a little Polish town or something.
Yeah.
Like, in the background. Like how the little houses are all kind of...
Like a village.
Out. Yeah, like on a hill and stuff. It's funny.
It's really, like, as kind of grimy as, like, some of the industrial parts of it are. It's actually kind of pretty, like, with the hills and the way everything's laid out.
Yeah. Well, she's remembering how much she loved her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, Coach's wife is telling
high school.
Yeah, her old love stories. She's happy to have a young girl to talk to.
To reminisce about her past.
Yeah. Nope, end up seeing the steel mill in the background. Tom's got a nasty bruise on the side of his face where the guys were punching him and shit.
Yeah.
It's like they hit him with something almost, like the shape of it.
This is the one that said to call him if everything goes through.
Yeah, that I could count on you. Nothing.
And now he's saying no.
Nope.
What a jerk.
So at this point, like, Tom is really at the bottom barrel. And I gotta say, like, not in a bad way, but, like, when you watch the movie at this point in time, like, once it reaches this point, like, you just really don't know, like, damn, where could this movie go? You know, like, how's it gonna wrap up? Like you really...
Like, he's so depressed.
Yeah, Tom was so low. And his dad comes to talk to him and, you know, asks him, are you ashamed of me? And all this kind of stuff. You know. And it's like, you know. Like I like it too because it's like the father is... I mean, he's his father, but, he's there to support him in ways like the coach couldn't, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the coach was too ego-driven and small-minded to do what was best for the kids.
It's just funny because it was like when he was doing that thing where he was getting out and drinking and throwing trash on the lawn and all that shit, like, you know, he was acting like a teenager or whatever. But like right now in this scene, like he's such like a little boy and like, why why did this happen to me, Papa?
Yeah,
I must have done something. It's like, yeah, dude, you freaking got drunk and threw some trash on somebody's lawn.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, I get why Craig T was pissed, but, like, I mean, it's not like he's like, oh, maybe this, like, he knows for a fact that he's screwing with Tom's future.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like, you gotta put your feelings aside, and everybody drinking from the keg, playing quarters and shit.
It always weirds me out when the way they're like, they pat her stomach so hard.
Yeah, the pregnant girl. Well, she's not a girlfriend, she's his wife now, but yeah, it's really slapping his pregnant wife's stomach.
To the vooch.
To the vooch, yep. So it's like Tom got blacklisted out of any college pretty much. Their best player, Riley Crispin, he ain't going to USC anymore because he got married. Vooch is in jail. It's like the team really suffered losses. I mean, there's still some other guys that they mentioned earlier, are going to different schools and whatnot. So, but it's all in the course of like probably a couple months here. It's like so many.
I think the black guys are the only ones that are gonna get to escape the town.
Yeah, like all the black players on the team, like they didn't really. Like they're all still going to their schools. They ain't messed up really.
It's funny.
Yeah, Leon gets the call there that he's going to West Virginia. Yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah, they call Leon's nickname, I guess, is Shadow. Yeah.
He keeps trying to tell him, go to
USC. He's like, I'm going to have a kid. That's more important than any damn college.
He's still like, you loser.
Yeah. Tom's just like, oh, God.
I got what I want.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
Well, it's not so much that he, like, I believe Chris Penn in that, he wanted to marry his girlfriend and have the baby and everything, but it's like, you gotta provide for your family, too, and, if there was any way he could still go to school and get a degree, I think that would have been better for his future,
Yeah. Oh, there he says he's got a job with the demolition company.
Yeah, this is really sad. Tom's doing a short, not part-time, but just short-term job with a demolition crew taking out a reactor. And the other kid says, yeah, my father worked in that reactor for 14 years. This is weird, too. Tom's drunken speech about God, all the stuff God created, and then the God created the football player, and it was good, man.
He created cheerleaders and made them wear short skirts and do cartwheels.
Yeah, 6 Day created the football player, man. Fans pay money to watch them hurt. He's so drunk. Look at Tom. They probably let him sip like half a beer and got wasted. He looks like a 2-beer drunk here. And Tom starts calling out the football plays, and this is funny. Like the linemen just jump off the couch.
The girl's like,
yeah, I don't know whose apartment that was, but they just smashed the coffee table, jumping on it.
Well, it had to be Shadow's, right? Because he got the phone call.
Yeah, I guess they called his house.
Funny.
I like it. I really do like this movie though. Like in terms of like you don't know exactly the time period because it just constantly one scene ends and another scene begins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, Tom is, like, hanging out at a local diner just being sad, drinking coffee with a straw.
I think it was after the party because he's wearing the same thing.
Yeah. Like, maybe he's just trying to sober up before he goes home or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense.
Drinking his coffee.
With a straw. But, yeah, he goes over, he sees the coach and the coach's wife eating at the diner or whatever. And he actually doesn't even want to talk to Craig T, but... Again, showing how good of a guy. Because, the other times when Tom was trying to apologize to Craig T about being there when their house got vandalized.
He's, like, moving his hands. Like, it's so, like... I don't know. Like, little... That's how what you would be doing if you were, like, nervous.
Fidgeting, nervous.
Yeah. Like, just subtle things.
I mean, even his body language. Like, I think obviously it's the best thing for Tom's career in terms of making money, but I think as far as an actor, the worst thing that happened to him was he became a star. Yeah. If he just would have, like, continued on doing roles like just being a character actor, I think he would have been great. But yeah, like the other times when he was always apologizing to the coach, you never knew if it was really genuine. And it really kind of wasn't genuine because he wasn't really super sorry yet. But he was just kind of doing it to get back on the team or try to get back on the team. But that time, he's already lost everything at this point, really. He just wanted to go apologize to the guy's wife because he felt bad about it. So that's how Tom's character, he actually really is a good guy.
Yeah. See, in this scene, I feel like he looks older now. Like, he doesn't look like that little boy that...
Yeah, he's more grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craig T chases him out of the coffee shop and tries to talk to him.
Together, remember that? That's the part.
Yeah.
It was all bullshit.
It was all bullshit, man.
But you're foolish.
And, like, Tom's really disillusioned. Like, he won't even hold Craig T out and hear Craig T out on everything. He's just saying, all the stuff you taught us, all the stuff you made us believe was just bullshit.
I like this part.
Yeah.
Who gave you that power?
Yeah, he's talking about you send this guy to this school, that guy to that school, help this guy, don't help this guy. He's like, who gave you that power? You're just a football coach.
I like this part.
I really like this part too because he's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, and Tom kind of doesn't know what to say, and he starts like walking away.
He yells.
Yeah, I like too. He starts running away, and then he stops and turns around. And he starts yelling back.
He just says, "You're a typing teacher."
Yeah, you're not a god, huh?
No, you're not God.
And look at Craig T's face, man. Just taking this fucking bitter ass medicine.
You are just a typing teacher.
Yeah, he tells him you're not God. You're just a typing teacher. And it's true. It's all 100% true.
That's the part I liked.
Yeah. And here we see Tom with his job, and his brother too was also probably doing the temporary work. And then like this is where you just really see, you're like, holy shit, like this is how good this movie is structured. Yeah. Like you're just like getting a glimpse now of like, we seen the steel mill, we seen the guys come out tired.
Legit fucking place.
Yeah, you see it, the sparks flying all over, burning Tom all over, fucking dirty ass face, spitting, clothes all dirty, soaked in sweat and shit like that.
Yeah, and they even gave thanks on the credits to this place, whatever it is.
Yeah, the Ampipe Steel Works or whatever it was. But yeah, just like the shit, like... And like I said, like, when you get to this point in the movie, you're like, damn, like, where's this movie? Like this point, and you see Tom and his brother riding out in the back of this truck at the end of the workday, I guess, but it seems like it's like early morning, And you're just like, oh man, like this movie like really started out from like this high school football movie to this. It's like...
He looks tired as fuck.
Oh yeah, you would be doing that. We're just shoveling that shit all day. They're meeting up with Tom's dad. He's getting off work. But it's like, yeah, you're like, damn, man, this movie is like almost like a fucking circle of hell he's descended into, you know what I mean? Like, there's just...
Yeah, that life is brutal, man.
Yeah, just like, they're like... And, it's just like... It's what everybody does as an adult. You have to suck it up and take some job you don't want to survive or whatever.
But this is harsh.
But this is like really the most backbreaking work and shit.
There's his sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah, Leah Thompson's waiting for him. They get a kiss and everything. Everybody's looking at him like, oh, Tom has that pretty girl.
He's so like appreciative of her. He's not closing his eyes when he's kissing her.
And that's the thing too, is Tom kind of had to lose everything before he appreciated like what he had with his girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it turns out his girlfriend Lisa brought old Craig T back to coach, and he's just like, oh, I gotta deal with this fucker again. He's just like, come on, just talk to him. It's just like... Because they're like really going in this scene, like you don't know what's going to happen. Like, how is this movie going to end? How's it going to wrap up?
I like how he like grabbed her, like he put his hand out for her to take his hand.
Yeah.
I like how united they are.
Yeah, they're definitely in it together at this point.
Eat crow.
Yeah, Craig T apologizing. Sorry about what he did. We got a little furry snorer over here. Jeez.
Was that your stomach?
Climax of the movie, we got a little furry snorer over here.
He is. He's offering him a full scholarship to Cal Poly.
Cal Poly.
He's like, what?
And he says, I want you to play football for me. Craig T got the job at Cal Poly. I love it how Tom's like, you're doing this just to make yourself feel better,
you're
right?
Damn right.
Yeah, he's like, I feel a lot better now. Full scholarship, Cal Poly, one of the finest engineering schools. So this is just like...
Look at his face. Oh
Yeah.
my god. She's like, come on, do it.
You know, honestly, this really is the happy Hollywood ending, but I like it, not just because everything he's been through, but the thing to me that makes it and kind of makes it feel real is the way, even though he's going to be leaving her behind, really, like, Leah Thompson is like, telling him, just sign it, go, sign it. Like,
she even says, what about you?
Yeah.
She's like, just sign it.
Yeah. And the dad hands him the pen to sign it.
Look at his face.
I know. That's like genuine happiness here.
Joy. Yeah.
Yeah. Such a great... I'll be honest, it's kind of...
Even his face, look, he's like, yeah. Dude.
It's like...
Oh my god. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, this hardship's like finally over. And it's crazy too, because the two people, the whole movie that were pretty much...
Next time, go for the ball.
Yeah, next time, go for the ball. Tom's kind of like, huh, what? He's like, yeah. Yeah, Tom learned his lesson. Finally, Tom's smiling.
Oh, the kid.
His $1 million movie. And I love it too. They all hug at the end. The dad, the brother,
Oh, the brother
him and
was
the girlfriend.
crying too.
Yeah. And then Tom just breaks off, spinning around with Leah Thompson in his arms. And then the triumphant song comes up. American Pipe and Steel.
He's like, yes, get me out of here.
Yeah, freeze frame on the hug. But no, but like the ending really kind of comes out of nowhere. Like you don't really expect that to happen.
Locker room dance.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But I don't know. It's like the perfect ending for this movie.
They were made for each scene: car ride, bus ride,
Yeah.
first bar scene.
Like the songs are like when you see the credits, the love theme from All the Right Moves, love scene. Yeah, they even tell you what scene the song was played in. That's interesting.
Funny, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen another movie do that, to be honest with you.
But that just shows that it was made for the movie.
Yeah.
Cool.
Blue Skies Forever is the song that plays at the end. It's really good. But yeah, I mean, I can't, like... You know, this movie's kind of wrapped up in the shell of being a high school football movie, but it's really not.
I don't think so.
It's really like I mean,
I think the football story is kind of the background story, actually.
But it's like, yeah, it's like every poster, every whatever is like always like trailers showing them in the football and all that kind of shit.
Because I think like the setting of this is so... It's overwhelming, but not in a bad way, you know? Like, you can't ignore the setting.
Right.
You know, like starting with, like, what it looks like to the way the community is with each other and how they talk to each other, and you can tell what the values are, what they value in terms of, like, the steel working life and all that stuff. To me, that's, like, the main story and character of this movie, like, that whole situation. Like, the football thing is kind of like...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the kind of... to add to the rest of it, to me.
Yeah, and that's why I like it, is the movie has a lot of depth to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of wrapped up in, you know, this experience of sports, but it's really... more about life. It's about making life choices, you know, making the right choice at the right time. Like I said, just pretty much all-star cast in terms of like recognizable people, and even in tiniest roles. And it's just one of those movies where like literally everybody's good. Like every person, no matter how big or how small their part is. I mean, really, even not that he was a star at this time or anything, but you know, even a recognizable guy is Chris Penn. I mean, he's his best friend, but he's really only in like 4 or 5 scenes. Yeah, city of Johnstown,
Bethlehem
Pennsylvania.
Steel Corporation. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, Bethlehem Steel Corporation. But yeah, so I mean, you know my usual spiel. They don't make these movies anymore. Blah blah blah. But I mean, it's like it's true. It's you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, even just, like, the teenage movie, like, they don't make those
Yeah.
anymore.
That's so weird to me, too, because when I was, like, a kid, like this, like, when I was a kid, this movie came out when I was 6 years old, they made movies about teenagers.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, they made movies about teenagers.
Yeah.
You know, like once the John Hughes thing was kind of off, they kind of stopped doing the teen drama for a while, but every single horror movie was still about teens, at least. And then in the time I was like in high school, In college, they started cranking out teen movies again. Teen and college movies. There's a lot of movies everybody set in either high school or college.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess it's just the point we're at now with global cinema being what it be, and you gotta, you know, a movie's gotta make $1 billion. Like, they just realize these things are, you know...
Now there's just High School Musical, and that's it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I guess Netflix shows. There's a bunch of weird shows on Netflix that are always about teens and committing suicide. Yeah. But, I mean,
movies.
yeah, the teen movie, it's not really...
Because, I mean, there's always been shows about kids in school, like, from Saved by the Bell, the 90210, and all that. But, I mean, as far as, and, like, even after that, there's always been shows like Boy Meets World and, you know, whatever else after that, and whatever all those Disney shows were. But as far as, like, movies, it's like, that just went away.
Yeah, it's gone. So, I mean... I think if you're missing that genre or whatever, and you haven't either seen this movie or maybe you haven't seen it for a long time, because it's definitely a movie I saw when I was younger, but I want to say I re-rented the Blu-ray, or not the Blu-ray, but the DVD, like, way back in the dawn of early Netflix. So, yeah, I kind of rediscovered this movie probably about 15 years ago, and then, like, whenever it came out on Blu-ray, a little while after that, I picked it up, and, like, yeah, like I've watched this a couple times since I've had it, and, like, it actually is a movie worth revisiting, I'd say, every 2 or 3 years, like, dusting off and, you know, checking it out, because, I mean, I love the setting of it. I love anything set in a small town, really, especially the movies that actually show the small town and are kind of authentic with the way of life and stuff like that. And that's another thing you don't get too much in modern movies, but yeah, I'm telling you, just, like, shoo, the acting, it's killer.
Yeah, that's why it's, like, to see stuff like this and the way he used to be compared to, like, how he is now. Because, I mean, I've watched a couple of movies, like, within the last, 5 or 10 years that he did, like, Jack Reacher, and I think I might have watched some of the Mission Impossible movies. Well, not might have, I have. But, it's just, like, he acts so strange now. Like, he's such a robot, and, like, to see him being something like this is just, it's, like, kind of sad, because it's, like, you wish he was still like this, you know? Like, you wish he was still alive, because he doesn't seem alive anymore. Like, it just seems like he's going through the motions now. He's got the Robert Downey Jr. syndrome, where he's just acting the same all the time, no matter what movie he's in.
Well, they always want you to feel like Tom is such a personable guy when you see him on talk shows and shit. Yeah. And I don't even really doubt that he is, maybe in real life, but it's just like this thing of, like, why I'm not, like, as into, like, Hollywood movies anymore is, like, Hollywood movies are very strange in that they don't let people be human. Yeah. You always got to be some weird archetype, or you got to be this, and I guess it's just all those studio notes of, like, make sure the characters are likable and all that shit, but, like, I think characters with actual flaws are more interesting. Yeah. And I think Tom, at least early in his career, because you'll see it, like, when we watch his other movies, he always plays somebody who has, like, some insecurity, or he's fighting some inner problem that he can't really, like, show to other people. So, yeah, like, I'm looking forward to, like...
Maybe that's why he acts the way he does now, because his problem of dyslexia has been cured, and now he feels like now he's feel like there's nothing wrong with him because he's reached the bridge or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just learned the upper levels that of technology and knowledge that Xenu had to offer, but
I mean, that could be it. You know,
it could. He's evolved.
He feels that he's reached those high levels of that of his religion, so he does act different now because he sees himself different. Whereas back then, he had, he was fighting inner problems. He had dyslexia, like he had real issues that he was trying to deal with, and that brings humanity out of you, and it shows on the movies. I think. I mean, I'm being legit serious. They're like, I'm not trying to make fun of him.
Not only that, but like Tom pretty much spearheads all his projects now. So it's like first of all, the people who get big Hollywood jobs now directing, they're not real directors. Yeah. like they're all kind of yes men anyway. And then on top of it, Tom's the producer, so the director like is literally a direct employee of the producer, so they probably don't want to piss him off or do whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like when he's, you know, like I'm not as high on Jerry Maguire as a lot of people are. Like it's not really a classic film to me, but it's a very enjoyable film, and I think Tom is interesting in it, and I think it's just because he has, you know, the movie's made. If I'm remembering right, it was a Cameron Crowe movie, and it's just Cameron Crowe's a guy he's all about the characters and relationships and the evolution of them. So he probably really worked with Tom. And it's like, when you have a director who has that type of mindset, as opposed to like, we're creating a global franchise, Tom, everybody in Bucharest to China is going to love this. Like, that's where you kind of like...
Just a cookie cutter action movie.
Yeah, well, it's like even if you make that type of movie, that type of global action movie very, very well and pleasing to its audience, it's still not going the places that like a humanistic drama would go, you know what I mean? So it's like the actor doesn't have enough emotion to play off of. So, I mean, I believe Tom, you know, and I would have thought, now I believe he's about 55 years old right now. I would have thought he would have been at this point already in his career where, you know, he's not going to be known as the sexiest man alive and he's not going to be known as this and that. I really thought he'd be going back to playing those more like character-driven roles now. But unfortunately, he found the fountain of stuntman youth and, you know, I think probably the worst thing to Tom's progression as an actor right now, or him getting back to doing quality dramatic work, honestly, is just the fact that Mission Impossible is just a full-time job for him. He's constantly...
Well, now he has Top Gun.
No, Top Gun's coming back too, which I don't even understand that.
He supposedly did all the flight scenes, and he made the whole cast do the flight scenes.
Yeah, there's some new movies going to fucking film in outer space, and I'm like, okay, like, anything not to fucking sit down and have a dialogue scene, Tom.
He's 57, he's going to be 58 in July.
Yeah. I guarantee you, Tom, in his mind, probably has a goal that he's going to make Mission Impossible and do his own stunts until he's 70 at least. Like, at least. But, yeah. So, not to end on a negative note, but that's why it's good to...
Well, I mean, I brought that stuff up just in relation to the fact that I thought he was really great in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, like, I wish we could see more of him like that. And, you know, like, that's what I want to see. Like, he was really good.
Unfortunately, there's only about 10 movies like this.
I know.
And I think, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'd be hard-pressed to say that he has any other movie that's better than this, really. I mean, maybe, like, a movie where, like, overall the movie's, like, better. But as far as his performance, and I know he gets a lot of recognition for his role in Magnolia, and he is awesome in that, and that is a very good movie. But to me, this one's a little less flashy and showy, and just more straight up, you know, subtle quality acting. So this probably is my favorite Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, I've never really seen him in anything other than his, like, newer stuff, so...
Yeah.
I've never seen any of this early stuff, so it's pretty cool, actually, to see it and see how he used to be.
Yeah, so we'll definitely dip back into Tom's back catalog here again soon, because, you know, I hope people aren't rolling their eyes being like, man, why'd you do a Tom Cruise movie? Because... You know, I think if you give some of these early works of his a chance, I think, you know, to be more surprising than you think. But other than that, we got another... I always love it when you guys leave ratings or reviews of the podcast on wherever podcast outlet you get it from. If it lets you give ratings or reviews, I appreciate that. If you guys do that, we got a new one the other day, so... Thanks a lot to the listener who did that on iTunes for us. But wherever you go, if you want to leave a comment, I definitely see the ones that show up on. Well, I guess it's not even iTunes. I guess it's Apple Podcasts now. I see all those. So if you guys want to leave a review that I for 100% will see. And by the way, like a lot of podcasts are like, leave us a 5-star review. And I actually read some like podcasts, like I don't know what you. Advice kind of, and it's like, don't be afraid to tell your listeners to leave a 5-star review. We actually do have mostly 5-star reviews, so I very, very, very much appreciate that, you guys. But I want you guys to leave. I just want you to know, I want you to leave a review, but I want you to leave it 100% honest.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when people ask me...
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Any comments, or even if just the star rating, if you just want to do the star rating, if you like the podcast, but you think it's legit a 3-star podcast, leave the 3-star. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
And like, if you want, say why. So, because the only way the show could get better is when we hear feedback. Especially
when we know, like, what you guys like or what episodes you like. So it's very cool. And I get Facebook feedback from you guys, too. If you want to hit up the Hillbilly DVD Reviews Facebook page, that's usually where I post out the links to the show there. And then usually I get a lot of feedback through there. So there's that outlet too if you want to get a hold of us. But you can always just leave a review and I'll see what you guys say. So thanks to the listener that left the very, very nice, very kind review the other day. I think we're at 29 reviews on Apple Podcasts. If we get to 30 soon, woo!
Who's going to be lucky number 30?
Who's going to be lucky number 30? Just so you know, you could be lucky number 30. Leave a review. But in all seriousness, thank you guys. Thank you for going down memory lane with us with Tom. Really rediscovering, his early good work. He still makes people happy around the world now with his death-defying acts of whatever, jumping off buildings and blowing shit up. But I like Tom, the character actor. So yeah, so everybody, thanks a lot, and take care. Be safe. We're all going to try to survive 2020 together. We'll get through it. Keep doing like we're doing. Hang out at home and watch these awesome retro flicks.
Yeah, you got nothing to do now but watch movies.
Yep. Watch these awesome cinematic classics. Until next time, we'll see you guys soon down in the movie graveyard.